Hello, and welcome to the first episode of Bruh Hear Me Out, or BHMO for short. I won't say the other name because that'll probably cause legal issues. But, anyways, my name's Josh, aka JC, and I hope you don't mind me borrowing your ears for a few minutes here as I ramble on at 12:56 in the morning. Just, almost an hour past midnight. But yeah, the title, which is Goodbye WTF Society, which was my old podcast that I didn't really do too much with and didn't really like the name of it anyway. Uh that was just a podcast where I kind of just talked and rambled on about things that people did that I don't like, which I mean, I'm still going to do that here, but to a less or, yeah, to more or less of a degree. This is going to be something that's more so just like I don't want to say personal journal, but basically something I'm going to put out here and hopefully you can relate to. But, yeah, bruh, hear me out has a ring to it. This one actually kind of grows on me. I'm not going to lie to you. But, a little bit about me. Um, why does this sound so awkward? Oh, a little bit about me. I like long walks on the beach and blah, blah, blah. No. Um, most of my ramblings are going to be from my work, which I work at a nondescript company that deals in giving people merchandise that I have to deliver. And if they don't pay, then I have to try and repo them. So I got a lot of stories from that over the years because I've been at this job for almost 6 years. Anyways, you don't want to hear me talk about work, or maybe you do. Maybe there's just some weird little corner of people that actually do want to hear me narcissistic much want to hear me ramble on about work or whatever. But yeah, been delivering furniture for almost 6 years, which is crazy. I never thought that I would have this job for 6 years, but here we are. And that's with its ups and downs. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm the main character of this podcast mainly. And I say mainly because this is me. This is mine. I may add people on here or there if they're willing, but it's just going to be me talking in my monotone in my monotone voice. Um Again, this is the first episode, so this is just going to be a whole train wreck of things, but hopefully, I'll get around to making scripts and scripting out other episodes and stuff like that. Also, don't mind me, sometimes I choke up over my words, but that's neither here nor there. Anyways, yeah, there's a lot of things that kind of gets under my skin that I'll talk about in later episodes, and we'll just see how far this goes. Honestly, like I said, I'm just testing the waters with this. Well, I can't really say testing the waters. I already got a whole like thing made out for it. Bruh, hear me out. Like, bruh, hear me out though, right? Anyways, you hear me out. So, like, hear me out, right? I don't get what people's fixation is with being rude to others, if that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Obviously, nobody really gets why people get off with being rude, but I've experienced this in my current job, in my previous jobs, which I'll definitely talk about those too. And it's just like, why? Like me personally, I don't really bother to have negative energy. Now, I'm going to insert a little asterisk here because you get me to a certain point and yeah, all that I don't care being nonchalant about things goes out the window, and that's when things that's basically when I'm like, well, bump you, you know. I don't really care about you or anything that you're about, and I'm going to be real petty, which and I'm starting to get more petty. I will say that. Um, but yeah, that just ticks me off. It's like, why are you being rude or why are you being petty for no reason? And if you're doing it to get a reaction out of me, like, sorry, you're not gonna wait. I'm not gonna waste the energy on giving you a reaction or giving you the satisfaction of the doubt, right? Like I've mastered the art of being quiet a lot, mainly because I don't want to hurt people's feelings. I don't want to get into no altercation, mainly because altercations are too much to deal with. And again, I don't want to waste the energy. And still, people try. People try and get under me and get under my skin. And it's just like, well, luckily, I have multiple avenues to where I can just let out what let out all the feelings that I've pent up for that day out and just move on about my day. Wake up the next day and feel a whole lot better. Some people can't do that. Some people would rather brood and sit on it and be rude and be miserable their whole lives. Not me. I can't do that. Or, you know, you get the ones that are super lazy that don't want to do anything. But that's about as far as I'm going to go into that. The real reason for this episode is had this random thought, right? I'm a nerd. I game. I read a little bit of manga. I watch anime faithfully. Mainly all of my source of content comes from YouTube. But I was watching a video about Samuel L. Jackson, and I started thinking like, man, I know he was in a few animes and animated shows and stuff, and one that came to mind was Afro Samurai. And Afro Samurai was kind of like my little first introduction to anime, if you will, if you want to classify it as that. Um, and just hearing Afro Samurai, being like, is that an RPG? Had an RPG in a backpack? Like that whole scene right there, which spoilers. Um, that scene right there was just that was funny. It was funny because at the time, I'm like, who is that? And I was like, oh wait, that's Samuel L. Jackson. And dude likes anime and hentai. Let him tell it. Um, let him tell it. He likes anime and he likes hentai and stuff like that. But yeah, I was just watching that video and then I went down a rabbit hole of Afro Samurai. And honestly, before I started doing this or recording this episode, I was supposed to be watching some Afro Samurai, but I guess I'll do that after this. Uh, but yeah, I like anime. I'm a nerd. I play games. I play Call of Duty, unfortunately, and all the other games in between. But my main love, my one real love, is my bass and making music. Even though I'm trash at making beats, I'll say that I'm trash at making beats. But I can lay down on the bass. I can lay down on the bass. And maybe that's just me being narcissistic, but I'm starting to get to a point because before then I was always at a point where I never really liked going back and listening to things that I've recorded and stuff like that. until I really got heavy into plant-based. And, now I kind of use that as like a stepping stone, if you will, or, a way to like, okay, well, I did that, but I could have did that a little bit better. So I'll go and practice, right? Um, I love guns. I'm American. So yeah, I love guns. I'm I'm not gonna tell y'all that. Y'all don't need to know that. uh but honestly, from the way that I talk, you probably can't even tell. Um you know what? Screw it. I'm black. I'm black, y'all. I'm black, y'all. I'm blackity black, 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 y'all. But yeah, I'm black. But also master. I'm not even going to say master because that's a stupid thing to add to it. I am good at code switching to help fit certain aspects and certain things. Like the way that my mind works, right? Hear me out. Hey. The way that my mind works, I think, I really do think before I say things and think about how I'm going to say it or how I'm going to convey this message, right? Um, so the way that works is my tone of voice will be heavily influenced on what I'm thinking before I say it. And I can still talk how I want to talk and everything with other people, but when it comes down to the nitty-gritty, I don't I don't speak certain ways with certain people or in certain areas cuz I don't have time to deal with, oh, you making me feel uncomfortable or, judge. Well, I get judgmental stares all the time, so I don't really care about that. But, so that's that. I'm black. Oh, I go ahead and read bread in. I'm not drunk, I promise you. I stopped drinking like almost a month ago. Wow. That makes me, listening to me say that makes me sound alcoholic. I'm not an alcoholic. All right. Yeah, typical. That's things that an alcoholic would say. But no, I, I stopped socially drinking. I cut out all alcohol. And honestly, I've never felt better. Now, if I could quit nicotine, that'd be even better. Uh, but no, man, the whole little like Afro Samurai, that was like my little introduction. And now I'm, I, dude, I'm watching like so many anime and it's crazy. I'm doing this podcast by myself, even though I've tried to get people on people. I'm saying people like, I know big people and stuff like that. I don't know big people. Uh, I mean, I know big people, but I don't know big people, right? Uh, basically, I've been trying to do this podcast with my roommate, and he ain't on it. He's just like, I don't want to do no podcast for you, and he won't give me a definite reason. But that's neither here nor there. I'm still gonna do it regardless. I'm just gonna be crazy talking to a mic in my dining room / office. Um, luckily, he's never here on the weekdays. He's only here on the weekends. Wow, it's like I'm a dad with visitation. Yeah, it's like I'm a dad with visitation. He's only here on the weekends. And then once the weekend is over, time to go back with your mama. You got school. Nah, I could never. But no, and that's another thing too. I don't have kids. I'm not worried about that right now. Do I want kids? Yes. But I also want to live out at least the rest of my 20s without any kids. So there's that. Like I said, buckle up because this is a roller coaster of a first episode. I'm going to bounce between topics and things of that nature. Um, Speaking of nature, nature scares me. I can't even say scares me. Nature is intriguing, especially Australian nature is like everything out there is trying to kill you. And my roommate's like, "Oh, we should go to Australia." No, I'm not going to Australia. You got me messed up. Why? So I can die from some supercharged mosquito that sucks all my blood in one go? No, I'm good. I'm good. Nope. I don't like spiders. And Australia has a lot of spiders. Australia has a lot of things that will kill you. Props to people that go to Australia. What is Also, I'm not high either. I stopped smoking like years ago, which is a huge mistake working at where I work. But anyways, yeah, no, I will. Well, I can't say never because never say never. But I'm not going to Australia no time soon. I I I want to go to Japan before I go to Australia. Speaking of Japan, I really need to pick my Duolingo up and get back into learning Japanese. At this point, I'm going to have to start from ground zero again. Start from, the bottom and work my way on up. And here I am talking with my hands. But guess what? You can't see what I do with my hands. So, yeah. But I would love to go to Japan. I'll go to Japan before I go to Australia. And again, I don't plan on going to Australia. I'm gonna just leave it at that. But yeah, no. And wow, that was a tangent. But yeah, regardless, like I said, this is gonna be more so like I don't want to say journal, but at the same time, I mean, a podcast is basically a journal, especially if it's just you. So buckle up. You're gonna pick my brain. I don't think that's the right way to context that. Buckle up. You're gonna go through my thoughts with me, which I'm surprised that I actually have thoughts because for the longest I didn't used to think about nothing. I literally just went with the flow. But now, as I get older and things start aching and start getting hair in weird places, like I have hair on my ears, like earlobe, right? And it's like, why is that there? Why is that a thing? But no, as I warm up to doing this whole thing again for the fourth or fifth time, it'll be natural. It was so much easier when I was younger. Oh my goodness. All right, so also my vocabulary is all over the place. So, you know, some things may come out weird to you but normal to me, if that's the best way to put it. But again, this is me. This is who I am. So my vocabulary choice is unique. I'll put it that way. But getting back on somewhat of a topic, um, here's here's a fun little tidbit. I used to be heavy like before I picked up any instruments, before, I was, well, I can't even say before I was big on gaming because I was a gamer even when I was younger. Shocker, so was everybody else. Um, I wanted to be a DJ. I wanted to be a DJ, had a little like, oh, what did my mom get me? She got me one year for Christmas. She got me a oh, what was it? I think it was an iDJ. You know what? I'm at my computer. I can Google while I record. That oh, what was it? I think it was iDJ. No, 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 no. It was it was some sort of like entry level DJ controller. It was red and black. Entry level. Oh, what was it? This is going to mess me up all night now because now I'm going to look for it and try and see. What if I put red and black? Sorry. Yeah, that's what it was. It was the Ion Discovered DJ. Man, this little thing was so crazy. And I say it was so crazy mainly because, again, I wanted to be a DJ when I was younger. So, my mom for Christmas got me one of these, and I remember with my little laptop. No, it wasn't even with my laptop. It was actually with my mom's laptop that she had music on. I would sit here, learn this software, learn what every single one of these buttons would do. And it was just basic, you know, had the two turntable platters and, the crossfader and all that. And you can sync and stuff. And I remember just practicing, beat matching and tempo matching and stuff. And I would make little mixes and, bear with me. I promise you I'm going somewhere with this. But I would make little mixes and stuff. And then came one year where we went over to my auntie's house and I brought that little DJ turntable platter thing for the first time, and I'm in her basement, throwing like a little party in the basement for me and my cousins and all that. And, we're all dancing, and one of the adults come downstairs and I'm doing my thing, and he's like, "Man, you're really good. You should stick with that." And then fast forward another couple years, we're over there and I get put on the spot. "Oh, Josh, mix something up and blah, blah, blah." So I make a quick little mix, and it was a good, oh man, that mix was baller. I'm over here mixing, songs from New Jack Swing era. I'm talking Don't Walk Away, Don't Be Afraid. Like, oh man, that whole little mix and everything, just mixing that together with other stuff used to go crazy. Because again, I wanted to be a DJ, but not just any DJ. I wanted to be a radio DJ, right? So fast forward from the whole DJ kick that I was on, which I never really, I never really, I think we moved and I left it at one of the old houses years ago and just never got back with it. But always wanted to be a radio DJ and honestly wanted to be a radio host, which is why I kind of talk in a certain tone, if you will. And from there, um, I remember, at a young age, making my own like Spreaker. If anybody remembers Spreaker, making my own Spreaker account and just literally, you know, I would live stream and record the little like Spreaker sessions where I'm just playing music, literally just copyrighted music back before, copyright was a big thing and or was a big no. Um, and like with that thing, it would be little 30-minute, little 30-minute sessions and stuff. And from time to time, my cousin was over at the house kicking it, be like, "Hey, you wanna record a quick little thing real quick?" It'd be like, "Yeah." And our voices in those sessions, which I have on my personal YouTube account for watching and stuff, they are there, and hopefully they kind of never see the light of day because my goodness, those things are the most awkwardest things ever. And but just hearing like how high my voice was before I grew up, which is always weird, to even the most funniest thing that to this day to me and my cousin, which is an inside joke that happened during one of the sessions. It's nostalgic, and I'm not getting choked up. It's nostalgic. It is. It's very, very nostalgic because like I've always wanted to do this, right? But as you grow up, interests change and you start worrying about other things and, games, girls, money, and you grow up and then everything takes a turn for the worse. I can't even say that. I'm saying that like, I don't like my current life. don't get me wrong. I love my current life. I've never been dissatisfied with life at all. So, but it's just crazy. Like the more and more you get older, the more and more you get older. Oh, wow. Okay. I guess I just had to clear my throat. The more and more you get older, it's like the more and more uh you have more. How many times am I going to say more? When you get older, it's like there's a lot of things that you have to worry about that takes up all of your time. So you can't really enjoy a lot of the things that you want to do, right? Like when I moved back in November to where I'm currently at now, it took me a few months to really want to pick up my bases and practice and stuff. And before I moved, like I was practicing my bass almost every night I got off of work. Like something bad would happen at work, pick up a bass, jam out for a few hours, and I'm good. Go to sleep, wake up, do it all over again, repeat the cycle. And now it's like I have the time, but man, it's one of those things that's not fresh on my mind. But I guess it comes with moving away and, not sticking with it, especially, because like before I moved, I was my church's bassist, right? And now that I'm not doing that or I'm taking a hiatus from that, it's like, well, why am I, going through with the whole practicing every day? Like, don't get me wrong, I still practice. I still practice from time to time, but not as frequently as I used to. And that's one of the things that I kind of get in my head about, and then just don't want to do it altogether. Just like with this podcasting thing, like my my last podcast, excuse me, um, I only have one episode on there, and that was again another late night full of ramblings, and just left it at that. Never really picked it back up, which now that I have a whiteboard and I can kind of like organize things or put things on a schedule, right? I can kind of do that. Um, and that's the whole plan with this podcast, is to actually like go through and go forward with this and actually have stuff to talk about. And who knows, maybe one of these days my roommate will come around and I can get him to record a podcast with me. Oh, there goes those plosives. But no, hopefully I can get him to record a podcast with me, and we can just talk and ramble on about random topics, even though he doesn't want to, because we're not what's the word he uses? Basically, we use a lot of dark humor. We are a very dark group of people, right? We will joke about anything. It doesn't matter how serious or not serious it is, we're joking about it. And that's because laughter is great. Like a lot of the stuff that we say makes us genuinely laugh. But I'm you know what? Yeah, I'm rambling on. Anyways, uh I really, really, really want to gripe about work, but I don't want to do that in this first episode. Like I said, it's an introductory episode, so I'm not going to hit you with too many of the details and stuff like that. I'll just trickle it on down, or, if something's fresh on my mind, then I'll record it and upload it. But, yeah, I will leave you with this. My current boss, because since I transferred to another location due to me moving, I've worked under two bosses at this location. And my current boss, he is a boring guy. Like, he is so boring. Dude needs to go out and get him some stuff, You know what I'm saying? Well, no, because that can literally mean anything, so you don't know what I'm saying. Dude needs to get laid. That's all I'm saying. It's like, dude needs to get laid. Like, I'm all for him worrying about the betterment of the store, but at the same time, if it's your day off, you don't need to worry about what's going on at the store. You don't need to pull the store system up on your phone on your day off to make sure things are getting done right. Like, you got two managers with years worth of experience, myself and the other manager. Like, you don't need to micromanage. You don't need to micromanage at all. And that's also another one of my pet peeves here is the whole micromanaging. It's like, dude, why? Why? You don't need to do that. We all know what we need to do. We all know what we're doing. You don't have to micromanage and follow in behind us and make sure that we're doing things correctly. But that's all I'm going to say about that. There will be more about that in later episodes. Again, I keep referencing later episodes. Maybe if I say it enough and speak it into existence, then yeah. I'm trying to end this, but there's another thing that came fresh to my mind. So I am under the realization that my house may be haunted. And my roommate doesn't want to believe it, but like, when you go down into your basement and there's graffiti on the walls, and in one of the rooms in the basement, there's a stone slab, or like the flooring of the basement continues in for a couple feet and jets right to where the furnace is, but the rest of the floor in that room is all broken up and it's basically soil. Then that's an issue. Oh, and it floods down there. So, and if you know anything about paranormal, well, water's a catalyst and ramps it on up. But I'll leave you with this. A couple nights ago, I'm just chilling in bed and I hear a loud bang, like something fell and hit the floor, or like something, somebody pushed out a window or something. So I grab my gun, clear the house. I'm like, all right, no signs of entry or whatever. Let's just go downstairs and check it on out. So, go downstairs, go into the first room, clear that room, and then go into the other room where the furnace is. And on the ground, I see the side panel of the furnace, the panel that hides like the electronics and stuff. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh, well, that's nothing. It could have just fallen off. How could it have fallen off, right? It's never fallen off in all this time that we've been here since November. Never fallen off. And when I put it back on, it's one of those ones where it pushes into its slot and then you have to slide it down. So there's like a flange or whatever underneath that panel that literally holds it into place, keeping it from falling off. So you have to physically lift it, and it's in there tight to where you have to put some force onto it. You have to lift it and then pull it off. No, you can't tell me that ain't ghosts. But anyways, I appreciate you for listening to my voice for a few minutes here. Like I said, the other episodes are going to be longer, but this is just an introductory episode. This is first episode of Bruh Hear Me Out, or BHMO for short. I'm JC, I can't see you, but you'll hear me in the next episode. All right, y'all. Peace.